Hey, what's up guys, it is your boy. I'm here bringing you another video today, and today guys, we're going to be talking about who you should summon for, Freed or Sonnie. Where's she at? There she is. And okay, that's cool, Nox. Thanks for informing me. You're updating apps. I appreciate it. But we're going to be talking about these units. I'm going to be telling you who I think you should summon for, the reasons why. I'm going to give you reasons for both. Neither one of them is technically a better, well, I mean, technically depending on who you have, maybe one of them will be a better option for you. So there's really no wrong answer here, especially if you're a free-to-play player. You're investing in very future-proof units right here. Like, Freed is one of the most versatile and universal like attackers we have. He can literally be thrown onto any team as long as you have his true weapon. He's gonna do work. Like, throw him on any team, he's gonna be perfectly fine. Sonnie, same thing. Throw her on, well, not the same thing, but Sonnie, throw on a light team, throw on an earth team, and then she's gonna benefit. You're gonna get tons of benefit from her. Now I'm gonna talk about these units real quick, and then I'll go into my discussion about them. So if you guys already know what these units do, I'll probably link a timestamp or something like that in the description below, and so you guys can just skip to whenever I start talking about whether you should summon or not. But the people who don't know, stick around, and I'm gonna tell you what Freed and Sonnie does, and also Freed's true weapon. We're not gonna mention Sonnie's true weapon. I think Sonnie has a true weapon, but hers don't. Hers true weapon doesn't matter at all. So let's go with this. So let's start with Freed. He'll be the first one to come out. So how this will work is I'm going to explain to you everything that he does, and then after that we're going to explain everything that his true weapon does, and then we're going to explain everything Sonnie does, and then we'll discuss who I think you should go for. So let's do this. So my boy Freed, this is Google translated, so you know, some translations, some writing may not be 100% correct, but from what I've heard from multiple people playing the Japanese version of the game who has Freed, they have told me some insight on him, or who has been in like the same lobbies as Freed and stuff like that. They have kind of told me how he works. So yeah, so his skill gives him 10 art gauge up, does some 2300% light / dark damage. Yes, he's able to do both damage types. The reason for this, if you do not know, one of his swords, which is the light sword on his what is it, that's his left, right? Well, he's looking at us. For us it's his right, but you know, it's his left. So the sword he carries on his left hand or the sword that he carries in his left hand is a light sword. The sword that he carries in his right hand is a dark sword. So he's able to do both damage types, and since he's a dual wielder, you know, that's how he's able to do both of them. So yeah, pretty cool. Because a lot of people are probably a lot of new players be like, well, why come Arth doesn't do both damage types, but he's a dual wielder too? Well, it's because Arth wields 2 earth blades. I mean, I don't really know if that's I'm pretty sure that's the design decision behind it, because he wields 1 light blade and 1 dark blade. It kind of reminds me a lot of Roxas from Kingdom Hearts. His normal art is 17,550% light / dark damage physical. Each time you activate the art, your own crit rate up. Skill CT speed 50% up for 15 seconds. So what does this do? Every single time you activate your art, you get 20% crit rate, up to a maximum of 5 times, meaning you can cap out 100% crit. Also, you get 50% skill CT speed for 16 seconds. The crit is not with the 16 seconds, the crit is just on you all the time. So when you activate your normal art, it's very similar to Zar. You know how Zar has the counters with his crit and his art gain and all that? Whenever Zar uses his art, you know, it stacks crit for him. Well, same thing with Freed. Freed is literally a top tier version of Zar. That's literally what Freed is. So every single time you use it, you're going to increase your crit chance by 20% up to a maximum of 100%. And then you have skill CT speed up 50% for 16 seconds. That allows you to use your normal skill even more, giving you a ton of art gauge, to be honest. 10 art gauge on a skill is actually insane for only a 7-second cooldown too, plus this art, because you're going to be using your art most of the time to stack the crit buff first and all that stuff before you're starting to go into your true arts and all that. So yeah, next is his true art, 31,000% light / dark damage physical. Critical time, hits own mastery gauge 2 up. So there's two things I've been told about this art, or one thing that I think is about this art, and other people have been telling me. People have told me how this works is this scales off his crit chance. So depending on how much crit chance you have at the current time with his stacks, so if you're at 100% crit chance, he'll give you 100 or 120 art gauge. Or the way how I think it works is because Freed's attack animation is extremely long. Like his True Art's attack animation is extremely long. It's a multi-hitting move. It hits a ton. And my personal opinion, I think how it works is every time Freed hits with his True Art, he gets 2 art gauge up. I think that's how it works. People have been telling me, no, it's the other way. I'm not for sure. We're just going to see whenever he comes out because, like I said, these translations aren't 100% accurate. So we're going to have to wait for it to come out. Either way, that's not really changing anything about him. Either if it's either way, it's still like God tier. So yeah. Also his abilities, HP and defense power 20% up. His level 90 ability, damage to enemies with dark attribute 20% up, damage to enemies with light attribute 20% up. So he's literally at a type advantage for both typings. Makes sense. He wields both typings in his, he wields 2 weapons that are light and dark, so it makes sense that he's effective against both typings. Also, as well, he has his max LB slots are 5-star physical, 5-star physical, 4-star support. Very solid max LB slots. Now moving on to his true weapon, which is what makes Freed super god tier. Let me just say this real quick, is he's not like Fina or Regulus in the sense that if you do not have their true weapon, they're kind of just, they're not really all that great. Freed is still a very good unit without his true weapon, but his true weapon is what pushes him into god tier. So keep that in mind. If you are not able to get his true weapon through summons, through rainbow gems or whatever, don't worry. Remember, in December, if you do pull this guy, in December, we have the First Friends campaign coming along, or something like that. I don't know how it works yet. I don't work at Next Ninja, so I'm not for sure how it works. But we have the First Friends thing coming along where we can get up to 30 rainbow gems from that. So that's a free true weapon. So a lot of people are going to be doing it. I'm probably going to be re-rolling a bunch of accounts to try to help people out too with the First Friends thing, including myself. So yeah, we're going to try to get that thing going as well. If you're in my Discord and whenever that comes out, it's probably going to be a group of us trying to do that for everybody, trying to help everyone out. So yeah, I want to say that real quick. But if you do not get his true weapon, don't stress about it. He's still really good. It's just his true weapon pushes him into god tier. So his true weapon is right here. When equipped by Freed, all stats is 30% up. Literally, you get 30% attack, 30% HP, 30% defense. When equipped by Freed, it's actually pretty stupid. Also, he is completely immune to freeze and paralysis while he has this true weapon on. So the only thing that can stop his art is feint, and the only other thing that you really have to worry about, like damage wise, with his art is paralyze. And apart from that, there's nothing really to worry about. Not paralyzed, but blind. My bad, because blind, if you're blinded, it reduces your accuracy, which means you can't really hit as much. So yeah. Also, his other ability that he has is art damage 20% up if yourself is a god, equipment CT speed 20% up. He is a god, equipment CT speed 20% up. I'm pretty sure that applies for all your equipment. So yeah, all of his equipment on him will have a 20% faster CT speed, which is actually crazy because if you look right here, minimum CT, this is at max LB, is at 3. He has a 3-second max LB CT, and what the heck? Okay, Google Translate, whatever. So yeah, at max LB, this has a 3-second cooldown. Now, what does this do, OP? What does this true weapon do? So this true weapon is 900% no attribute damage, meaning no attribute physical damage, meaning that it's neutral against all typings. So it just does neutral damage. On hit, HP 50 recovery, 3 seconds, for 3 seconds. Defense power itself 20% down. If the enemy is divine or demon, it has a 12,000% damage. So instead of it having 900%, it has 12,000% damage if you are a god or demon. If you hit someone with, or if you hit a boss or an enemy with his true weapon, for the next 3 seconds, you're going to get 50 HP a second, so you're going to get a total of 150 HP within 3 seconds. And also defense power itself 20% down. It's not your defense from what I've been hearing, it's the boss's defense or the enemy's defense that you're fighting. I don't think it's his defense. Even if it is his defense, it's not even that big of a deal, because that just means that it kind of, the ability that it gives Freed cancels it out anyway. But I don't think it's a defense down on yourself. I think it's more so a defense down on the boss. It's like a better toy sword in that sense. Also, I've been hearing too that it doesn't list it here, but in this skill right here, apparently it's supposed to give you 3 arts or something like that, or 2 arts or something every time you use the skill. if that's the case, that I could see why this makes him super god tier. I mean, even with these stats right now, I can see why it makes him super god tier, right? But still, if that's the case too, like I said, Google Translate could just not translate it or mistranslate something. But yeah, from what I've been hearing, apparently his true weapon will also give you art regen like Fina's and Regulus' true weapon, but not in the same way. It's tied into the skill and not an ability, from what I've been hearing. So yeah. So that is Freed and his true weapon. Moving on to Sonnie. Sonnie is a support unit, nothing like Freed. Freed is an attacker unit. Sonnie comes out in December. Freed comes out in November. Freed literally comes out next week. At the time of recording this video, he's literally a week away. So yeah. So my girl, I won't say my boy, to my girl Sonnie, what does she do? So literally, I'm gonna describe Sonnie like this. She is a fusion between, I'm not lying to you guys, she's a fusion between Finn and Mako. I'm not lying, that is the lore behind Sonnie. She's a fusion between Finn and Mako. If you don't believe me, ask the lore geniuses about this. I'm telling you, I'm not lying about this. You fuckers think I'm lying. I'm telling you, they put the Batora earrings on. You can't see them, but I'm telling you, it's Finn and Mako's fusion. But, so does she classify as a trap then? You gotta think about that one. But her skill is Art Gauge of all allies 5 up, skill CT speed 20% up for 8 seconds, my bad. So every time you activate her skill, it's an 8-second cooldown. Every time you activate it, you get 5 arts for everybody. Everybody gets 5 arts, really good. Also, for 8 seconds, you increase skill CT speed by 20%, meaning you're able to use your skill faster, and everybody else is able to use their skills faster. So this helps her out a ton, since this considers that, you know, since this helps her out, it's going to mean that everybody else gets more art gauge, including herself. So it's really good. Also, her normal art is 7,900% light magic damage. Art gauge 2 up for all allies for 15 seconds. Break force 2,100. And then her true art is light magic damage 20,800%. Paralysis and freeze resistance 100% up for 12 seconds. 30% art damage up. In addition, if you are earth or light attribute, if you are earth or light attribute unit in, oh, okay, wait. Let me reword this. So 30% art damage up. In addition, if you are a earth or light attribute unit, you get an additional 30% more art damage. So instead, if you're a light or earth unit, she gets, well, everybody gets 60% art damage up instead of 30%. So of course, it's not like you just have to have a light unit on your team and you get 6% of damage. That's not how it works. If you are a light unit, whenever this buff gets applied to you, you get 6% art damage up. If you're an earth unit, whenever this buff gets applied to you, you get 6% art damage up. You know what I mean? So that's how it works. So for example, let me just say this because just to clarify. So let's say you have a fire unit, Sonnie, a earth unit, and another light unit. The earth unit and the light unit will get 60% art damage up, but then the fire unit will only get 30% because, you know, it's a fire unit. It's not like it's not like a buff that you just have to have one unit on the team, then everybody gets 60% art damage up. I wish that's not how it works though. So that is Sonnie. She is a support unit. Also, her abilities are as follows: max HP level 2, maximum HP 10% up. Revenge level 2, when near death, art gauge recovers naturally by 2, and then Eye of Truth, which is accuracy of all allies 30% up, and crit damage 30% up as well. Also, her max LB slots are 5-star support, 5-star support, and 4-star magic. So let's talk about this a little bit more. So that is Sonnie, and that is what she does. That is everything that I want to cover for these units. Now to talk about the nitty-gritty, who you should summon for. Now let me just say this, because Sonnie is restricted to being for you to get the most out of her, she needs to be on an earth or light team or a mixed team of earth and light units. I'm considering, personally, Freed, no, without a doubt, is the better option of the two. The reason for that is because since Sonnie's reliant on either earth or light teams, or, you know, the mix of the two, to be successful and be, you know, get the most out of her, it kind of puts a restraint on her, so it kind of sucks in that regard. Also, Sonnie doesn't have a heal, so if you're looking for a support unit that gives art gauge and healing, like a Serpa or Mako, then you can't really get that with this unit. She only gives art gauge, and then she only gives art damage buffs on her true art, so there's that. However, that still doesn't mean that she's not a good unit. She is an S tier support, even in the Japanese version of the game. She is used on every light team and every earth team, to this day, like every time I look up JP videos, it seems like she's always on there. If she can be on the team, it seems like she is on the team for light teams, and especially earth teams as well. So yeah, she's really good. Now I want to say this real quick too, is that, like I said, if you can get both, try to get both. If you can't, don't really stress about it. It's okay. In either way, you're getting a top tier unit. If you summon and hopefully you guys pull these guys, I wish everybody the best of luck. You get a top tier unit no matter what. So it's more so pick your top tier unit that you want to invest into. But like I said, I think Freed overall is the more versatile option. Even needing his true weapon isn't that big of a deal, considering the fact that we're getting the 30 rainbow gems in December. So just in case if you do pull Freed and you cannot get his true weapon at the current moment in time, you will be able to. And then also another thing is too, people are speculating that maybe Freed's true weapon will be able to be selected for free, which if that's the case, that would be really cool, because, you know, on the 21st, we're also getting, you know, unit of choice tickets. We're getting a unit or an equipment of choice, let me say, being a true weapon, a 5-star equipment, and also a 4-star equipment. So that's really good. So people are speculating that maybe Freed's true weapon will be on that. If it is, that's really good. If not, it's nothing to really stress about, considering we're pretty much getting another true weapon for free in December with the First Friends thing. So there's that. Also, let me just say real quick too, is that that's what I want to say first. Now, if you want a little bit more detail into these units, let me tell you. So Freed, like I said, is without a doubt the better option in my opinion, because Freed's a Czar. Freed's an S tier attacker, for one, and Freed is really strong in an upcoming piece of content that you guys may heard. You know, it's been pretty big news for everybody, is raids. Freed is one of the strongest units in a raid team. Literally, like, he's able to just do so much, because raid fights aren't like giant bosses. They're not like anything like that. They're not like event bosses. Raid fights drag out for a long time. Like, they're not like super long, but a long time. So it's a good amount of time you're in there, and someone like Regulus isn't able to really keep up with that, because, for example, Regulus is a nuker. Literally, that's what he does. He's a nuke god. That's what Regulus is. But in most situations, I think Regulus is still better than Freed. Like, for example, against giant bosses and all that, depending on what giant boss it is, Regulus is better because he's able to do a ton of burst damage. So in nuke comps, I think Regulus is still favored over Freed. However, in sustaining comps, or against raids, Freed is favored over Regulus, because Freed's able to self-sustain himself with his crit chance and his art, or his skill, meaning that he can give himself art gauge, he's giving himself crit chance, and then his true art does a ton of damage, giving himself art gauge back. So he's very self-sustaining unit, and he's built to fight a boss for a long time if he needs to, which is really good. And at the same time, it's not like he's like doing no damage. He's hitting like a truck, and with every single hit, he's hitting like a truck. So he's doing really well in that department as well. On top of that, apart from him just being a really good sustained DPS, it's not like he just isn't able to be in like nuke compositions. You can still nuke with Freed. It's just that that's where he shines the most, is in raids and the pieces of content, or, you know, upcoming pieces of content that is very dragged out. That's where he excels at the most. So if you want to invest in someone like that, let's say you maybe don't have Rags, maybe you don't have Regulus, maybe, you know, you don't have any top tier attacker, then I think Freed is a perfect option for you. So that's what I had to say about Freed. Now, let me talk about Sonnie real quick. And then, like I said, you guys already know who I said that you should summon for. But then let's talk about Sonnie, and then see if this will maybe influence you guys a little bit more. Like I said, this part of the video is more so just to give you a little bit more detail on what these units do, and some backstory to kind of maybe weigh your decision on who you should summon for, and all that stuff. So, Sonnie, staple unit in all light teams, literally. She's gonna be in every light team you ever see. There's very meta things in the game right now with light teams, so she pushes the light team to be extremely meta. Her and Freed does. So no lie, after this update, probably the best team in the game without a doubt for most content in the game is gonna be Sonnie, Fina, Mako, Freed. Will be the best team in the game. From what I've been hearing, from what people have been telling me, from what I even thought of whenever I first saw this was, dang, all those units on the same team is going to be ridiculous. So if you guys don't know, Art's damage buffs do stack. So for example, Sonnie's art damage buff does stack with Mako's damage buff. So there's nothing like you can't be like, oh, OP, but they don't stack. They do stack. Fina's going to be there for healing, and then Stas avoiding, and then Freed's going to be there doing damage if you can get Freed. If not, anybody can replace that last slot, to be honest, if you don't have Freed. And then, yeah. Apart from that, though, not even having that team comp, Sonnie is still really good. For example, like I said, staple in any light team comp. And even that, she's not even like, oh, she becomes terrible if she's not on the light team, or she becomes terrible if she's not on the earth team, right? She still gives you decent buffs. For example, she's still like one of the best art batteries in the game. Tying her art gen buff with her normal art makes her really strong, unlike Finn and Mako. She's very similar to, you know, a Serpa, where a Serpa gives you art gauge on her normal art, and Sonnie gives you art gauge on her normal art, but she gives you an art gauge regen buff, which is really strong on a normal art because you only need 100 BE to activate a normal art, where you need 200 BE to activate a true art. So it's very good in that sense, because you take her on any team, you put her on any team, you're gonna be perfectly fine in the art gen department. Like, you're not gonna have a problem there. And then if you want, you just use her true art, and it gives. And let's say you have her on like a fire team, or you're running her in a dark team, she's still going to give off like 30% damage, which isn't nothing. Like, that's not like a bad buff at all. 30% art damage is actually pretty solid, to be honest. So yeah. So in my opinion, let me just say real quick, this will be the ending. This will be the closing thoughts for both units. I think I'm happy with how this video turned out so far. Go for Freed. Freed, in my opinion, it's OP's recommended choice is Freed. However, if you're lacking support units, maybe go for Sonnie. Sonnie may be your better option. In my personal opinion, let me just say this, is that the units that are more versatile always are the best options in Grand Summoners. Like, for example, I value Fina a lot more than Regulus. The reason for that is Fina is very versatile. Fina can be used in a multitude of different boss encounters and raid bosses because she has that status element cleanse, because she has that heal. She's very versatile. Same thing with Freed. Freed's very versatile. So I recommend going for Freed because he's the most versatile option out of the two. So yeah, also another thing is too, I don't know if Freed will be on Sonnie's banner. Sonnie's and Freed's banner is going to be completely separate. One happens in November, the other one happens in December, so there is that. Apart from that though, guys, that's going to be the end of the video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If I left anything out, please tell me, because like I said, I don't play the Japanese version of the game, so I, have never used these units. I'm going off what people have told me, from what gameplay I've seen, from guides and unit reviews and all that stuff that I've read online and everything, so that's what I'm going off of. But yeah, so guys, that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, drop a like, comment down below, subscribe for more. If you have any questions or anything like that, always hit me up in the comments. If not, if you want to, if I don't respond too quick or whatever the case may be, you can always hit me up on Discord. I'm always on Discord. So yeah, apart from that though, guys, it's been your boy OP. I'm out, guys. Peace.